Okay, now sometime before I ask you to look at here. This field business application header app header is 11, means it is a mandatory field. 11 required element, means required and anyhow required. Then 01 character set, this is optional. Whatever mentioned 11 is mandatory, 11 mandatory, 01 optional element, 01 optional element, like this. You have to read like this document, optional element not required. So that's why though so many fields are here, there are very less field in particular empty message, sorry, fact set or fact 9 messages. Now can you see it here? 0 and star means this instruction for credit information element is going to repeat it unlimited time here, so it can be used multiple time here. Okay, that's why it's mentioned here, unlimited element occurrence. Are we good here now? See, I'm going by very basic. Yeah, okay, I have not started with yet explaining you anything about ISO, but I am giving you background what we are going to study in coming sessions. Okay, and take my words, this ISO 222 you have to listen carefully, understand carefully, and because this is only future now, whatever empty we have listen or understand and thought, that is history. But unless and until we know the history, we should not understand these ISO messages. That's why we have learned that thing first, and now we are moving to ISO messages. Okay. Are we good now? Shall I go next screen? Okay. Now, just now I discussed, now we are not going to call bank, we are going to call as a agent. So it ISO 20 message have number of element associated with agent which follow, which which of allow of this. Okay, agents to be referred by a variety of financial institution identification, more commonly the ISO 9362 financial institute. Okay, there is a ISO series 9362 which is more refer for big, how big should be known. Okay, for that there is one more, like ISO 20022 and ISO 8553 for cards. Like this, one more is for ISO 9362 for financial institution. Specify the element and structure of a universal identifier code which is BIC. So business identifier code for financial and non-financial institution for which an international identifier is required to facilitate automated processing of information of financial services. So that's why we discuss also it is big from which, but just now we introduce a new word here, it is ISO 9362 is a what is called, it's a benchmark to understand this, that due to the regulation big is identified. Big FI is considered the best practice de facto standard for many to many correspondent banking payments. However, other options include clearing system member identifier which accompany with him. Okay, so we are going to see now which are three things we are going to use apart from big in ISO 20022. Okay, so also we have discussed like in the last like for example 52A, 52K, 52F, 52G, in that, right? Sometime big is mentioned, sometime address is mentioned, sometime person's name and account number is mentioned. So instead of big you can use this also. So here also we can divide financial institution means your bank, financial institution identification you can identify by big, you can identify by big, you can identify by clearing system member ID. Okay, the second one by LEI, legal entity identifier, name, postal address, and various sub elements of postal address and various sub element of system ID. So out of these, first and second you are familiar, means is clearing system member ID. Okay, it is by your clearing system of your bank. Name and address, also postal address is simple. But one more thing is introduced in ISO 20022 is legal entity identifier. Okay, what is meaning of legal entity identifier? So earlier, what happening there? The particular bank, if that is registered or not with universally or globally, it was not mentioned anywhere. Okay, that for example, there is a Bank of Arabian Emirates, for example. So it is acting as a compliance for a particular country, but whether it is acting compliance for the world, that was not clearly mentioned anywhere. So this is new terminology, is legal entity identifiers introduced, which can be a compliance for all the universe. Okay, like BIC and account number. This is also newly introduced term, legal entity identifier, means bank branch, everything is been legally compliance. So that maintaining database for making the payment faster instead of putting in repair or postal stop. We are going to see this also in coming sessions in detail. Okay, now this is the table of which country is using which clearing system and what is their short form. For example, Australia is using AU, AUB, SEZ, ATB, CAP, CANP. Okay, no need to discuss on this one. This is just goal information for that. What is the short form clearing system of identification of that one? Okay, this one. Okay, so we have discussed very basic about ISO 20022. This is just a basic session. How much you are comfortable and confident now? Let me know first. Then we can move ahead. Are you good now? Again, again, I thought a pin drop silence or what again? Because now if you are moving ahead and ahead, this will be a um, more I can say more complex, more interesting, and more informative. Okay, now I have one more basics in session with me. Okay, ISO 200, which is more detail, but I want to discuss with you that also. Oh, this, though it is basic, I am gradually increasing my speed of introducing a very medium part of ISO 20022. Okay, so now already we have discussed what is this is, by the way, second presentation. First presentation I am done. Now this is second presentation, and